Hi everyone, Robyn Lynn again, back with another episode of The World According to Robyn. First things first, Happy New Year. Look, I know I've been off the grid for a little while. It was a little bit rough for me during the holidays, but I'm okay now, relatively speaking. My adolescent teenager decided, of course, to kick off 2025 with decisions that in hindsight can only be described as impulsive chaos at best. You know, like when a 14-year-old decides that bangs are a good idea. Except in my case, it was a lot worse than cutting bangs. It cost me a little bit of my heart. But that got me to thinking, what's going on with my brain? Why am I crying at slow Wi-Fi and making questionable choices like a teenager with fake ID? So today, we're diving into HRT and Adolescence, the adult brain and second puberty. Let me tell you a little bit about my past situation, my second puberty love triangle. I'll set the stage. It was Pride weekend, June 28th to be exact, in San Francisco, the day of the transgender march. The city was electric, glitter was in the air, and estrogen was coursing through my veins like champagne at a wedding. Earlier that day, I had met someone. We'll call her Kay. That's not her real name. She was another trans girl, further along in her HRT journey, and absolutely gorgeous. I was smitten. We spent the day together, marching, chanting, and making questionable decisions about our romantic compatibility. Kay, however, turned to be a mixed bag of hotness and yikes, also known as narcissist. But in the process of trying to decode Kay's signals, I met her friend, Brienne. Brienne was also trans, also ahead in her HRT journey, and she dropped a truth bomb that changed my whole perspective. She said, "What would you do if your 14-year-old daughter came to you with this dilemma? Use your adult brain, condense it down to a sentence that your daughter can understand." Whoa, cue the record scratch. My adult brain? I didn't even know where I had left that. Was it under the pile of emotional decisions I'd made that week? Probably. And my 14-year-old daughter? Girl, I am the 14-year-old in this situation. Brienne wasn't just pointing out my emotional immaturity. She was gifting me a wake-up call. She made me step outside of my little girl and look at it as an adult. And you know what? She was right. I'd been making decisions with my teenage heart instead of my grown-up brain. It was time to put the frontal lobe back in charge. So, have you been through this? Do you recognize some of that in yourself? Maybe you're asking yourself, why is your brain flirting like a freshman? Here's the deal. HRT does not just transform your body. It gives your brain a makeover too. Estrogen amplifies sensitivity, emotionally, physically, and yes, sexually. Suddenly, I'm a walking ball of feelings. Everything feels new, exciting, and just a little overwhelming. I call it emotional edging. One moment, I'm swooning over someone's smile. The next, I'm crying over commercials for paper towels. It's chaos. And let's talk libido. For some trans women, estrogen quiets the sexual noise. For others, it's like throwing fuel on a fire that's been dormant for decades. I'll let you guess which camp I'm in. All I can say is, thank God for waterproof mascara, right? So, here's where it gets tricky. From the onset of puberty, cis girls have about 10 years to grow into their adult selves. They get time to experiment with makeup, clothes, and social norms. Trans women, we're expected to figure it all out in 2 years, figuring it out as we go. It's like getting handed the syllabus for a PhD program and being told, you've got 6 months. Good luck, girl. Our first attempts are bold, to be nice about it. There's no mom at the door saying, sweetie, that's not your color. There's no auntie saying, oh, no, not that eyeshadow. And we're out here in neon leggings, trying to figure out what business casual means while also wondering why we suddenly cry at rom-coms. And don't even get me started on dating. My newfound emotional sensitivity means I'm drawn to people who make me feel seen and understood, which is great until it's not. Until you run across a narcissist that preys on that. Kay, Brienne, and every other chapter in my romantic life are proof that I have a type. That type? The kind that makes therapists say, oh no, So here's the hormonal tightrope that we're walking. HRT doesn't just make you physically softer. It changes how you relate to the world. My skin is much more sensitive, which is great for certain activities, but also makes me feel like I'm experiencing touch for the first time. And my attractions, they've evolved. They're still evolving. I'm primarily drawn to women because of how they make me feel, not just how they look. I'm drawn to men too, but not so much. But I did admit my attraction to men. I don't know if it was just admitting it to myself or the hormones changed it. Your mileage may vary. Here's the kicker. Society still doesn't know what to do with us. Dating as a trans woman in second puberty is like being a middle schooler trying to get into a club with a fake ID. You're figuring yourself out while everyone else around you is trying to categorize you. It's exhausting and hilarious. That said, dating during second puberty can be a circus. You're emotionally 14, socially awkward, and trying to navigate a dating pool that often feels like a swamp. Brienne's advice to me, use your adult brain, turned out to be prophetic. Now, before I dive headfirst into a crush, I pause, breathe, and ask myself, is this my frontal lobe talking, or my estrogen-fueled little girl heart? So, on the other side of this hormonal hell, let me give you this little piece of advice. Be patient with yourself. You're a teenager again, but with rent to pay and no curfew. Find mentors, those big sisters who've been through it. Laugh at your mistakes, but don't let them define you. And most importantly, have fun. Experiment with style. Explore new parts of yourself and embrace the chaos. But for the love of glitter and good decisions, don't get enamored. Crushes are fun. Heartbreak is not. Trust me, Kay and Brienne taught me that lesson the hard way. That's it for today's episode of The World According to Robyn. Second puberty is wild, unpredictable, and sometimes downright ridiculous. But it's also a chance to rediscover yourself in ways you never thought possible. It's a chance to reinvent who you are and who you present to others. So go forth, embrace your inner teenager, and remember, waterproof mascara is your best friend. That's it for this episode of The World According to Robyn. Again, Happy New Year. This is Robyn Lynn, ending with another grin. Bye.